Yo, I don't want to be flexing on all of you guys, but as you guys know from my previous video, which by the way, if you haven't checked out, be sure to go check that out, top right corner over there. And anyways, I stayed up till 3 a.m. recording that video to get the video out to you guys at 4 a.m. Well, this time, due to procrastination, I decided to stay up till 4:30 a.m. to record this Epic League video, so we're about to have a tired review. But then again, I took a power nap, so... Is it really like a record since I took a power nap like a couple hours ago? I guess not. I'm not feeling too tired. So there's that right there. Well, let's get into today's leak video. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links leak video, and I'm excited to drop this leak video for all of you guys because we're going to be talking about some spicy new leaks from the previous update that I did not talk about compared to my previous video. My previous video, like I've said, it's the leak video talking about the brand new box. This go around, I'm going to be talking about some other cards that were not related to that new box. We're going to be talking about some new rank PvP reprints and new cards that we're going to be able to get from the rank PvP tickets. We're going to be talking about some new Pegasus cards. Most likely, we're not going to be able to obtain those Pegasus cards, but I'll talk about those in a bit. And then last but not least, we're going to be talking about some brand new skills from Kalin that reveals a ton of new cards, a ton of new skills for Kalin, because as you guys know, we're going to be able to unlock Kalin at the end of this month, and I am beyond excited to talk about all this stuff in today's video. So if you guys are also excited for this leak video, be sure to show your support by hitting that like button on the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links leak content. But of course, you can wait to like and subscribe until you watch the entire thing. And now let's just get into today's leak video because I am hyped to do so let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to check out is just Duel Links Meta's website, because I just want to talk about the few just miscellaneous things real quick, and I don't feel like making this segment super duper special. So we're just in Duel Links Meta's website for this portion of it, but huge shout out to Duel Links Meta. As always, link in the description down below if you want to check out the website, because that's where a lot of these links came from and all that stuff. But yeah, we're going to be checking out that. First of all, we have the new Man Sleeve Circuit mission. Most likely this is indicating that we're probably going to be getting some sort of another Turbo Duel event, either from the Kalin event or something completely different, because the skill I'm going to be talking about later is related to turbo dueling. So this new Man Sleeves might be meaning that, and circuit, turbo dueling and stuff like that. So that's just my educated guess. It could not be that, but that is just my opinion. The other thing is that we're going to be getting another Dual Quest mat for this month because we're having the Dual Quest event. So we're going to be able to get this green Dual Quest mat. And I'm not the biggest fan of these mats. I don't really care too much about the Dual Quest stuff, but if you guys enjoy Dual Quest, there you go. Next up on June 12th, which is actually in like 24 hours from now if you're watching this video on the 11th, June 11th, we're getting a new sale, 72 hours only. I might consider dabbling in it a little bit. I might not. It depends on how spicy the sales are. I really want the like $1 UR sale back. I think we had one of those pretty recently, so I don't think that's gonna happen, but these sales are very spicy. We have the Pegasus banner right here. We already know all these cards because Duel Links confirmed it for us, but it's cool to see. And then also Tristan's gonna be adding to the gate. So that's all a little miscellaneous stuff. Now let's go switch to the real news, the real spicy news, so I'll see you in a bit. Next up on this batch leak is we're gonna be talking about the upcoming rewards for the rank PvP tickets. And first thing we're gonna be going through is the reprints that we're gonna be getting with the rank PvP tickets for the next rank season, so in like July or something like that. We're going to be talking about first is that we got your boy Metal Dragon. Thank you so much, Konami, for adding such a broken card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Metal Dragon is broken. You can use a normal ticket to get that card. Next up, we're going to be talking about Guiding Light, which is a fairy reprint that we're going to be able to get. You can use a rare rank PvP ticket to get Guiding Light. Next up, Harvest Angel of Wisdom, which is on the bottom left, is going to be able to get obtained with an SR rank PvP ticket. And last but not least, a Voltus of the whatever that card is. I'm not going to try to butcher its name because I already did. But that is a UR card that you can get with the UR rank PvP ticket in July. So these are a bunch of reprints. Notice that there's a lot of fairy support, which is pretty good for any of you guys that want some fairy cards that were not able to get it from the Superb Atea event. So that's pretty cool right there. And that is it when it comes to all the reprints. Now we're going to be talking about the first card, and we're going to be talking about Dragon Core Hexer, which not bad. Not bad at all, not bad. I like the, there's some little perks over there, as you can tell. Anyways, though, this card is literally just going to be a normal, or not a normal card. It's going to be a rare card they're going to be able to get with the rank PvP ticket, so you can use a rare ticket for Dragon Core Hexer. It is an 8-star Dark Dragon tuner, which is interesting that it's an 8-star tuner. Whatever the case may be, and it has 2300 attack and 3000 defense. Let's go read that dialogue though, just for fun. So many years of dragon slaying has bathed this huntress in countless amounts of blood. Each drop gave her more power at a terrible price, as her cursed body now spreads the dragon taint like an epidemic. No village will take her in, and she no longer even remembers what inspired her crusade in the first place. dang, rip that waifu. So there is that right there. But so she's kind of low on my waifu list, if I'm being honest. But it is a neat artwork. I actually like the blue and the blue hair and all that stuff. It's pretty spicy. So very cool. Last but not least, when it comes to the ranked PvP ticket stuff, we're going to be talking about Cheap, which is going to be the final new card for the ranked PvP tickets. Cheap is a SR card that we'll be able to get with an SR ticket in July from ranked PvP. This is a win 1-star winged beast flip with the effect. You can special summon a level 5 or higher tuner monster from your deck. So basically, what Cheap is screaming to me, which I just noticed, is the fact that you can actually combo it with Dragon Core Hexer. So Cheap can help you out with that. So you can get Dragon Core Hexer out pretty quickly. So that's not that bad at all, getting a 2300 attack, 3000 defense monster just from Cheap alone. Not bad. And of course, there's a lot of other possibilities that you can use because it's just any 5 or higher tuner monster. So I don't have Duel Links open up right now, so I can't check all the other 5 or higher tuner monsters, but I might post editing comments, or not comment, but put some text on the screen talking about all the other options you could use for cheap in post editing. So that's pretty cool. Potential synchro summoning combos and stuff like that. The only issue is it is a flip monster though, so it's going to be a little bit slow on getting those combos out, but it's still an interesting card, and I could see people figuring out a cool combo with Cheap. So just tell me if you guys are excited for Cheap in the comment section down below. Now let's go move on to the next portion of today's leak video. Okay, so the next 3 cards that I'm going to be showing you is most likely for the upcoming Pegasus events that we're going to be having in the middle of June at some point. But to keep in mind, though, these cards I'm about to show you, I'm not going to go and do a breakdown and do my first impressions on these cards, because most likely these are just going to be exclusive to Pegasus's deck. Because as you guys know, in like previous Yu-Gi-Oh events, like for example the Epic Yami Yugi event, there at the time during that event there was a lot of really good broken cards in his deck that we're not able to attain at the current moment. Like I believe Epic Yami had like Eternal Soul and stuff like that, and he had Magician's Navigation, even though we're going to be able to get that card later. But at the time, we were not able to use those cards. So basically, these 3 cards I'm going to show you is from Pegasus. I'm going to give you guys a little moment to pause the video so you guys can read these cards for yourself. But all these cards are most likely going to be in his or in Pegasus's deck when we're going to be able to go against him in the event. So first up, we have Millennium Eyes Illusionist, 2-star Dark Monster. Very cool right there. I like the artwork, and maybe this card will be added to Duel Links in the future. Who knows? But most likely this is for Pegasus's deck in the upcoming Pegasus event. Next up, we have Illusionist Faceless Magician, 5-star Dark Monster with a low amount of attack, but it has some of that Millennium Relinquished Support, which is pretty cool. And last but not least, we're going to be checking out Relinquished Fusion, which actually sounds pretty cool. So the fact that we have or not that we're going to be getting this card, but it is cool that the potential of a Relinquished Fusion could be coming and being attainable for us. So there's a couple of fusion monsters we have. I remember one of the mini boxes a little while ago actually added a Millennium Fusion, so that's pretty cool, or a Millennium or Relinquished Fusion monster. So hopefully we can get Relinquished Fusion sometime in the future, but most likely it's going to be exclusive to Pegasus's deck. So in the last and final segment of this leak video, I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Kalin skills and all the cards related to all those Kalin skills. And let me just tell you guys now, this segment is going to be a while. We have a ton to talk about. We have a mix of Earthbound stuff and Infernity stuff to talk about. So let's get into it. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is Immortal Offerings. You get to reveal up to 1 to 3 Earthbound Immortal monsters in your hand. Then you can play Ceremonial Token equal to the amount of number of cards you revealed. You cannot normal or special summon monsters except Earthbound Immortal monsters on the turn you use the skill. The skill can be only used once per duel. So it is a very open skill. Most likely this will be seen in multiple different Dark Signer characters once we get all the Dark Signer characters. So while this will be with Kalin's character once Kalin comes into Duel Links, I could definitely see this being a skill that will be seen with all the other Earthbound or Dark Signer characters, kind of like what they did with the whole level synchro skills with all the 5Ds characters, how like multiple of them have level duplication, augmentation, and all that stuff. So that is my opinion right there. And I did a little bit of research, not too much research, but I did a little bit of research, and I looked up the tokens effects. So most likely this tokens effect is going to be Ceremonial Token, special summon with the effects of Offerings of the Immortal. This token cannot be tributed except for a tribute summon of an Earthbound Immortal monster. It cannot be used as a synchro material monster. So most likely this skill, so while Ceremonial Token was in different Yu-Gi-Oh games and all that stuff, Ceremonial Token is just going to be literally a token with the effect saying that it cannot be tributed from, it cannot be tributed except for the tribute summon of an Earthbound Immortal, which would make a lot of sense. And that's where, and actually with this skill too, it actually tells you basically the card's effect right there. So yeah, that's all the ceremonial token is. It's just a tribute sacrifice for the Earthbound Immortals. Next up we're going to be talking about is Immortal Charity. This can be used if you control an Earthbound Immortal monster. You can set either one Earthbound Whirlwind, Earthbound Wave, or Roar of the Earthbound from outside of your deck. This skill can only be used once per duel. So what I do like about this one, or actually I don't really like these skills, never mind. I actually don't like these skills because one, it is a 1 in a third chance on just getting like a random card. Like I haven't read like the cards that we're going to be talking about from this skill. I actually haven't read yet, so I don't know their effects yet, but usually with these type of skills, I don't really like them too much because it's very RNG and just unreliable, because the only way to activate them is if you have the monster out itself and all that stuff. And it's just like, I feel like you can just use other skills. Like I feel like the previous skill that we just talked about is much more worthwhile compared to a skill like this, because you're like not even guaranteed one of the cards or whatever. I talked about this a little bit with the Jack event, so remember Jack had a skill like this for Red Dragon Archfiend, but it is what it is. But still, it's going to be pretty cool to check out some of these Earthbound cards that we haven't got in Duel Links just yet, so let's go take a look at them. But the first one we're going to be talking about is Earthbound Whirlwind with Carly's Earthbound Immortal. This is a spell card. Activate only while I control a face of Earthbound Immortal monster. You get to destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. So this is basically a Harpy's Feather Duster or whatever, but for Earthbound Immortals. So that's actually pretty good. That would be a pretty good card to get from the little skill. So there you go. That is something for it. Next up, we have Earthbound Wave. This is a counter trap card. When your opponent activates a spell trap card while I control a Earthbound Immortal monster, negate the activation if you do destroy it. Okay, we've seen this type of card in a lot of different Earthbound decks. A lot of different decks, a lot of different archetypes have a card like this, so that's neat. And then last but not least, from this skill, we have Roar of the Earthbound, which is a continuous trap card. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster and destroy that target. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equals to half of the destroyed monster's attack. You must control an Earthbound monster with attack higher than the attack of the attacking monster and activate and resolve its effect. So, this is not, you know, too bad. Still, I don't really see your opponent being able to... I don't see this card being worthwhile, though, only because, like, the Earthbound Immortals, when you do get them on the field, have a huge amount of attack. So the fact that you need a big-ass, like, Earthbound Immortal monster to even resolve this effect is, like, okay, I guess. But, like, you're not going to be able to pull off this effect that much because your opponent's not going to be really attacking you because your Earthbound Immortal just has so much attack and all that jazz right there. So I don't really see this card being too worthwhile, at least from what I read from my first impressions. Maybe I read this card incorrectly and it's pretty spicy, but I'm not too sure. But all I know is that, like, I'm kind of afraid that this card is going to be exclusive to, like, Kalin or whatever. I really hope that once Kalin comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links that this is not a card from him, because one, this has my favorite waifu of all time, Misty's Ace Monster. Like, this is Misty's Ace Monster on the card artwork. Right there, her Earthbound Immortal. Now, and the only way I want to see to get this card and to unlock this card is from Misty if she ever gets added to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. There's a small chance that Misty will get added to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I don't know if it's going to happen at all, and the chances of that are pretty low, but there's a very, very, very small chance. I hope that we get Roar of the Earthbound from Misty instead. But yeah, that's her Earthbound Immortal right there, which is pretty neat. So now let's go move on to the next skill. And the next skill is actually crazy, like, interesting. Like, this skill piques my curiosity, to say the least. This skill is called One Card Wonder. Your starting hand becomes one card. During the duel, your normal draws in the draw phase become 2 cards. Now, this is a very open-ended skill, but most likely this is intended to be a Kalin skill once Kalin comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, considering the fact that with Infinities love to activate all their effects when you have no cards in your hand. So clearly this is a skill or just kind of pointing towards the fact that this is an Infernity skill. Now, so here's the thing, though, in my opinion, it's a very open-ended skill, and I feel like there might be some deck out there that has kind of the same, like, vibe as Infinities or something like that, and could take advantage of this One Card Wonder skill and all that stuff. So I'm very curious to see if anybody else could crack the code and use the skill once it comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links to build a broken deck, or just a cool deck in general, that can utilize this sort of, like, flow where you don't want too much cards in your hand, but it's a deck that's able to really go off into combos even if you only have 1 card. So I am very curious to see what people are going to be able to do and all that stuff with this skill. So I don't know, this one definitely piques my curiosity. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at this skill called Fleeting Hand. This is another most likely for Kalin. Return 1 of 3 cards from your hand to your deck and then apply one of the following effects depending on the number of cards you returned. So if you return 1 card, you get to place an Infernity Archfiend on the top of your deck from outside of your deck. If you return up to 2 cards, you get to play 1 Infernity Necromancer from outside of your deck. And if you return up to 3 cards, play 1 Infernity Launcher face up from outside of your deck. This skill can only be used once per duel. This skill is actually crazy good, and if they add this as a unlockable skill, Infernities might be pretty busted depending on what Infernities we get once Kalin comes into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I'm not too sure what they're going to do with this skill, if they're going to give it to the players, or if this is just a exclusive skill during the event, because as you guys know, sometimes with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links events, there's exclusive skills only for that character, and you can't use them at all, and it's only for the event. So that's pretty interesting right there. But this skill would actually be crazy good for Infernities, because alongside of returning cards from your hand to your deck in order to pop up with the Infernity effects, along with that, you get to special summon Infernity monsters and all that stuff. So that is actually really cool. Anyways, though, so a lot of these Infernities that we're going to be taking a look at were actually not added as playable cards. They were in the Kalin event when he went against Dark Signer Kalin when he was roaming in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. We did see some of these cards, but we weren't able to unlock them just yet. So the first card that we're going to be talking about is Infernity Archfiend. This is a 4-star Dark Fiend effect. When you draw this card, except during the damage step, you can, and if you have no other cards in your hand, you can reveal this card and special summon it from your hand. So that explains why this card gets placed on the top of the deck, because you can do its special summon effect. So that's pretty cool. When this card is special summoned, you can add an Infernity card from your deck to your hand. You must have no cards in your hand to activate and resolve this effect. So yeah, this is a searcher, and you get the special summon in immediately. So alongside, so yeah, you use the skill to return 1 card from your hand to the deck. You get to put this card into the top of your deck, and then on your following turn, you get to special summon this guy and search out for any Infernity monster that you want. That's pretty busted in my opinion, so that's a pretty good card. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at Infernity Necromancer, the 3-star Dark Fiend effect. When this card is normal summon, it is changed to defense position. If you have no cards in your hand, this card gains the following effect. Once per turn, you can select an Infernity monster in graveyard, except a Necromancer, and special summon it. So also a really good card. You return 2 cards from your hand into the deck. You do the skill, special summon Necromancer, I believe. Let me go read the skill real quick. Yeah, so if you, let me go find the text right there. Yeah, so if you return 2 cards, play Infernity Necromancer from outside of your deck. So yeah, that's pretty cool right there. You get to go for that little combo, especially some Infernities from the graveyard. And then last but not least, Infernity Launcher, which was used a lot in the Kalin event. This is a spell card. Once per turn, you can send a Infernity monster from your hand to the graveyard. If there is no cards in your hand, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard and select up to 2 Infernity monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. A really good skill right there, and opens up possibilities to go into either synchro summoning or just get a bunch of monsters on the board. So yeah, Fleeting Hand, this skill is like crazy spicy in my opinion. I'm genuinely curious on what people are going to figure out with this skill. Next up, we're going to be talking about a skill that actually has no name. Either the skill is literally called skill with no name, or there's just no placeholder and we don't know the exact name of this skill just yet. Anyways, though, this is most likely another Kalin Infernity skill from the text. This card, or this skill says, can be used on your second turn. Discard up to 2 cards from your hand, then send Infernity monsters from your deck to the graveyard equal to the number you discarded. If you have no cards in your hand, it increases the attack and defense of all Infernity monsters you control by 400. Also, a really cool skill that really can combo well. Now, if we do get Necromancer, if we do ever get Necromancer as an unlockable card, I can definitely see Necromancer being able to use with the skill No Name, because you discard cards and all that stuff, and you can just use Necromancer's effect to special summon Infernity monsters from the graveyard. So that's pretty cool right there. And yeah, this just helps out Infernity because you're literally getting rid of cards from your hand. You can do any other like combos when it comes to that. I don't know, since the skill says discard, I don't know if that's going to be able to trigger any other skills in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, but then again, it does say then if you do the discard effect, you do have to send Infernity monster from your deck to the graveyard equal to the number you discarded. So even if you try to do some other deck that uses discard effects, I don't think it would work, because 1, the skills I don't think count as the discard cost, and then 2, you need Infernity monsters in your deck anyways to resolve the whole thing. But yeah, that is a very interesting skill, and all these Kalin skills sound really spicy. I'm genuinely curious if Infernities are going to be a decent deck or not in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Last but not least, though, we're going to be talking about the final skill in today's batch of leaks. And we're going to be taking a look at this skill called Speed Spell Acceleration. This can be used by removing speed counters. Effects vary depending on how many speed counters you remove. I'm not too sure why this is in the batch of leaks, but it is very interesting to me. Either this is just indicating that we're going to be getting turbo duels again during the Dark Signer Kalin event, which is most likely the case, or who knows, maybe Konami is considering to add speed dueling or turbo dueling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I think turbo dueling would be awesome. As a like multiplayer thing against other players, but most likely this is just a little turbo duel, Dark Signer turbo duel segment for the Dark Signer Kalin event, just to kind of symbolize and pay tribute to the anime and all that stuff right there. But it's still cool nonetheless. Well, that's going to be it for today's batch leaks. If you guys watched to this end of the video and you haven't already, be sure to go hit that like button on the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. If you haven't checked out my previous video, be sure to go check out my previous video on the upcoming box coming into Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. A couple of the cards got revealed for it, and it's looking pretty spicy, to be sure to go check that out. But yeah, I think it's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.